Come on, I want to get. How come I don't see my cursor? Oh, yeah, there it is. Yeah. Thank you. So one last video. It's pretty short, but I think you'll see why. So, there are two categories of motivators, right? At least. And obviously in the last one you could see different emotions generated. Nobody had to say anything or do anything or anything. People were driven by that motivation. So the two categories of emotions are something that you see external and something that happens internal drive. Okay? And I like the metaphor of iceberg. What drives the iceberg is not what you see the tip, right? What drives is the 80% of that mass that's down there. And if you think about it, on the tip of that, or what is outside, are what people shared: money, perks, status, praise, and all of that, right? Now, what you really want, what really drives people is some of these, right? Trust, allowing them to innovate. Kind of build commitment somehow, show them what is it in it for them, but not necessarily in terms of external, but tied to their purpose. Why is what they are doing is important for the purpose of the company or business, okay? But notice that what you really need to get that is acknowledgement, relationship, some belonging of community, and purpose, right? That's what really gives you this. The money perk doesn't give you. What I found in the money perks and all that, what it gives is compliance, not commitment. It gives people to clock in on time, right? To follow procedures and complete tasks.
What's the difference between compliance and commitment?
Anybody else would like to share? What do you think is the difference between compliance and commitment? Yeah.
Compliance is usually with someone else's rules. Commitment would come from my heart or from me personally.
Right. Compliance, if somebody doesn't look, if somebody is not paying attention, would you follow that? One of thing I noticed when I was working in the prison is they would come up with this new policy. And they made sure that you sign it. Whether you understood it or not, they would ask you, but it's like a 3-page policy. I don't have time to read. And the thing is, nobody would believe in it because the policy came from somewhere up there. They don't own it, the solution. It's just somebody thinks that will solve the problem. A lot of times, we didn't even know what problem it was trying to solve. So, because it's written and signed, you will follow that for a certain number of time, days or month or whatever, and then people will forget and wouldn't really care about it. And then somebody raises the administration raises things and watch out, you have this policy, right? Okay, fine. And so now you comply. That is compliance. There were people who were committed to serve and make a difference. And that was different. Does that make sense? Okay, any other questions about that? Okay, so there are different motivation styles. Even though you can say there are 2 of them, but they're not black and white, right? They're not, and what I call coming from inside an intrinsic motivation style or intrinsic motivator, and those that are outside are extrinsic motivator, right? And they're not necessarily 1 or 0 or black or white. Sometimes you kind of go in between. The question is, do you understand what they are and what are the consequences if you follow one or the other? Okay? So, the extrinsic obviously live outside the person, employee, right? Bonus, perks, employee of the month. But once you're employee of the month first, 1 time a year, and then they're going to give other people a chance, you kind of lose that attraction, if that's all that's driving you. Delivered from the manager or higher authority. It could be a family member, parents, whatever you call it, okay? And it's easy to quantify. You get a 10% raise if you do this job, okay? It's required as an ongoing stimulus or expense. So if you stop it, then people lose the drive or motivation, okay? It has to be reinforced with some kind of power structure. Make sense? Compliance. It brings compliance. People follow rules. People follow whether they believe it or not, whether if it solves a problem or not, doesn't matter. Okay? When you run into trouble, what happens? You're at mercy of others. You sit down and point fingers, whatever you call it. It's not my problem because I didn't really sign up for this policy anyway. I don't even believe in it. So if there's a barrier, I can go and complain, but the manager is not going to listen because he or she is sold on whatever policy because they came up with it, so they have to believe in it, right? And then there is a time that you can use that. A lot of times when it's a mechanical task, you're going to put so many volts per hour on that wheel. Possible to count, possible to motivate a person to give reward if you do it. That may work. Okay? There's intrinsic motivation on the other end. It lives inside the employee. It's what it's really driving is a passion, alignment, values, belonging, and purpose. Right? It's driven by relationship and culture of the organization or society or a business. It is intangible and abstract. You can't really count how many times you have acknowledged, but you can say how many times you've acknowledged, but whether you touch that person's heart with that acknowledgement or not, don't know. You can't count that. So, reinforces interdependence. It's down, I started, when I did workshops on emotional intelligence in the prison for the staff, it wasn't part of my job. But I was motivated to make a difference in the staff stress and improve the culture, because the culture was very, very scary. And I wanted to develop trust. When I did that, I insisted that nobody is forced to attend my workshop. I will generate that. And I developed a council to improve climate, which involved people from below to come as a group and see how can we improve climate, not from administrators, because they didn't trust them anymore. So that helps to do that. It's really creative. You can become creative when you come up with a problem. Yeah, fine, okay. So, if you have a mechanical task, you may use that, but if you have a creative task, you must use this intrinsic motivation. So what I'd like you to do, why does people not use that? So I'd like you to think about, take 2 minutes quickly, and think about your situation when you are motivating anybody in your business or when you were motivated. What did you choose and why? And what would have taken to choose the other side, the intrinsic motivation side? So take about 30 seconds, and then I'm going to open up and share. How do you generally motivate your clients, or your employees, or your colleagues, or your friends? Think about one situation. Anybody quickly comes to mind that you'd like to share?
Yeah, showing the big pictures.
Showing what?
Showing the big pictures. Okay.
The big picture.
What is the end result?
Okay. Okay. What else?
Praise.
I'm sorry.
Praise.
Praise. Okay. And hopefully there is some praise that generates
Yeah, a genuine praise for the
genuine
individual.
praise.
It comes
Yeah.
from the heart point.
Right. What about? Pete?
I found education helps, because if you know better, you do better.
Okay. Thank you. Anybody? Yeah. Go ahead.
So, every place I've ever worked, there's been some sort of culture, and I would define culture as being some common interest in accomplishing something.
Right.
So you can tie what you want people to do to
Right.
that, like they want to make a good product.
Okay.
So you can tie what you want them to do to making that good product and show that there are concrete connections. That they
Between what they are doing and why is that task important?
Well, talk about, when you talk with them, you talk about benefits to them rather than features. 'Cause
Okay.
people would like to know what's in it for me, why should I buy it or do that? And people don't care about features, they care about what is it, how does it make them feel about
Okay.
what's the benefit to them.
Okay.
Yeah, fear.
One last.
Fear is this one.
Fear.
Suppose if you are going to laid off next week or something, then people will work hard.
Okay.
So that is also another one.
One last.
Recognition.
Recognition.
Basically,
Okay.
that somebody do
So-
great in the business, do right things, so let the people know that, hey.
So is Employee of the Month a recognition?
Right?
Okay. And that would work sometimes, but do you need to keep doing that? Or is it sustaining?
No.
So that's the question that we need to ask, right? Why does people use extrinsic? What do you do when your kid is misbehaving?
You need time out.
Yeah. And why do you, yeah, BJ?
You take something away that they highly value.
Ah, okay. So that's one way. And the question is there other choices? What makes us choose that?
It's the easiest way.
It's the easiest way, right? It takes time and a lot of investment to develop an intrinsic motivator for people. Like Dean said, it needs education, it needs showing values.
Nurturing,
and
basically.
Generate. So it's a lot of time So there are different tools and practices. First thing that helps intrinsic motivation is giving them people choices. The more choices you give, the more they will be motivated. You know, so even with your kids, instead of saying you're going to wear this shirt, you can say, well, today we are going out. Can you pick one of your shirts between this and this? Something like that. Engaging others in decision making, right? Empathetic listener. A lot of times listening, what is it that really people want? Instead of dictating what they want or assuming what they want. Freedom to grow and develop. Allow them to grow, especially kids. You tie them to their growth somehow. Develop powerful values, okay? Be a role model if you're going to do it. This is another part of the people that, when you're talking in a group, how many times people use the word we versus they? That tells you the culture of that group, right? Constantly articulate purpose and overall build relationship, okay? So that's my part of it, and I'm sure I can talk to everybody and gain a lot more information. So I'd love if you have more questions. If you have a minute, you can ask now. If not, get together with me or one-on-one, or we can have a fireside chat. I'm open today at 2 o'clock, so come on down. If you want to call me because you have a personal thing, I have my business card. Please share with me, and I forgot to put my sign-up sheet. So I have an article based on that, and if you want to have an article, sign up with me, and I'll share articles, this and more. Okay? So thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Actually, when you were talking about